Travis Tayler was involved from the very early stages in the David Grush investigation. Let's talk about that and a whole lot more. It's time for another UFO News Roundup. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is an almost 3-minute clip, so I probably won't play the whole thing, but it's really interesting. Check this out.
But they had U.A.P. hearings, and one of the star witnesses was David, and I can't say his last name. Grush.
Yeah.
Who you know.
Yes.
And how do you know him?
Well, so Jay Stratton was the director of the U.A.P. task force, and I was his chief scientist. And we had another guy that was kind of an equal level of Jay. Jay was the 2-star admiral equivalent, and the other guy was in what is now Space Force. And we needed someone that could go and start looking through all the classified programs and see if they could find evidence of crash retrieval and old programs. And so the one guy that was in Space Force said, "Oh, I got a guy that's on contract for me right now that's good at that." And it was Dave Grush. And so we gave Dave the assignment, go and see what you can find out. And you see now on all the hearings what he found out. And there's a lot more to it that he can brief inside a classified environment.
Right.
But Dave is the real deal. I mean, it was his assignment to go and figure this stuff out. And
he sure did, didn't he? Thank goodness. So there you go. Travis Tayler involved from the very early stages in the David Grush information. I love it. That's huge. The Skinwalker game, the Skinwalker Ranch team strike again, guys. They strike again. All right. Meanwhile, we've got paranormal activity, increased paranormal activity at the Las Vegas alien house. I've talked about this before, and now there's new information coming out about it.
So what's interesting also, Alex, in almost a year that has passed, is that something else has begun to happen, they say, now inside the home. And they're very afraid of what they have been, what they say that they have been witnessing inside their home. Can you describe what it is they're telling you?
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why Angel has pivoted from calling what he saw that night an alien instead, now calling it a demon, because he feels like he's seeing so much paranormal activity and just strange, unexplainable things happening inside of his home. There was 2 anecdotes, one in particular that we're about to show you that literally made the hairs on my arms stand up just because it is so freaky, so unexplainable. We have a segment of that part of the conversation. You mentioned paranormal activity. What exactly did you see?
Well, I was in another room. My brother called me, and there was a upside-down cross, and there was a Jesus statue in it. They ripped Jesus out of it. They threw him across the room, and it was floating upside down.
Are you saying floating in the air?
Yeah, in the air. It was floating upside down.
What did you do? I mean, did you go pick it up? Did you knock it down?
No, I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting there. I was crazy. I was like, what?
But how did it come down? It's not still floating right now, is it?
No, it came down. So we got closer to it, and then it dropped.
It fell to the ground. A crucifix,
yeah,
floating in the air, upside down. The Jesus on the crucifix had been ripped off,
yeah,
and it was floating. Yep. And you can say definitively, without lies, that that is what you saw.
Yes. Swear to God, that's what I saw.
What do you believe that is? How could something like that happen? That's not physically possible in this world.
Yeah, so, assuming that Angel is telling the truth on this and they are having this increased paranormal, even haunting, quasi-demonic activity in their house, what does that mean? Does it mean that the alien encounter that he had was demonic or spiritual and not E.T.? Well, no, that's not what it means at all, although, of course, who knows? But there was a UFO associated with that event. There were beings that looked like aliens associated with that event with apparently cloaking technology of some sort. I guess that could always be some sort of metaphysical technology as well, or ability. But it's also important to keep in mind that in many UFO contact experiences, paranormal activity follows. That is a common feature of UFO experiences, and it's why I call all of it, everything combined, the greater phenomenon, because the UFO phenomenon itself is simply one subset of a much larger phenomenon that includes ghosts and cryptids and near-death experiences and portals, you name it. And they're all connected. People will see the dead aboard UFOs. People will see Bigfoot aboard UFOs. People have a near-death experience and they'll see aliens hanging out with Jesus. It's a thing. It's all connected. And of course, the paranormal activity associated with alien encounters is also very common. One explanation I've heard for this is that the UFOs use dimensional technology. If they are translating from one place in our reality, if they're not coming from some other dimension, they could use, if they're coming from a different distant star, they can use different dimensions to traverse the distances between stars. They can blip, into another dimension and then blip out on Earth if they wanted to. And as they're going through these other dimensions, which you may think of as spiritual realms, or consciousness realms, however you want to think about it, maybe they get some hitchhikers aboard those ships or, following in their wake. And these spiritual entities can follow them through the dimensions to Earth, to our plane of existence. And that may explain why there are paranormal encounters associated with UFOs. But of course, a lot of that is just conjecture, and we don't really know. Either way, it sounds like Angel and his family are going through some alarming stuff, and I hope they are able to get some solace from that and some help from that. Something to get rid of the scary, haunting experiences that they are having. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthart thinks China knows more about the phenomenon than the U.S. This is from his Reddit thread that Ross has. And he says, he calls himself Brush Past China. I think China knows more than the U.S. and it's weighing the strategic advantage that might be derived from being the first nation to reveal what I am being told is the truth, that there is an NHI presence on this planet. Can I say, though, that I agree with Brandon Fugel of Skinwalker Ranch when he told me in our most recent reality check that he thinks disclosure won't come from government in the way we hope. He thinks it has to come from private, well-funded investigative research. Screw governments if they're too cowardly or self-interested to disclose. I suspect it has to do with a fear of having to account their compounding and doubling down on their lies, or act. Anyway, yeah, act, I think. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Strong words from Ross and Brandon Fugel, evidently saying that disclosure might come from a third party, maybe a private investigator. I like that. I think that's probably true. We're certainly not going to get it through official channels, are we? They're going to deny this until they are forced not to deny it, or until the pro-disclosure faction of the control group gains the upper hand, which I hope is going to happen at some point. But yeah, man, we've got the Nazca Mummies guys. We got bodies, y'all. We've got bodies. We don't need the government. We've got bodies. And we've got people like Brandon Fugel and the Skinwalker Ranch team also pushing their own form of disclosure. And they are getting the truth out more than the government ever has. And so are the guys investigating the Nazca bodies. But I don't buy that China has greater access to this technology than we do, than America does. Otherwise, Taiwan would probably be in Chinese hands by now. But I do think it's an interesting idea that they might go forward with this information quicker than the U.S. does, possibly for some strategic advantage. I don't know what that advantage would be other than sort of a destabilizing effect, or possibly to scare any enemies off, saying, hey, we've got alien tech and you don't, so back the hell off, muchacho. But who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, would you go on this thing? Look at that. Look at that, guys. Whoa. Man, that would get your blood going, wouldn't it? That looks like fun. I would do that. I would do that. All right, I'd write my will first, but yeah, wow, that's badass. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, George Knapp is reporting again on the dual raids of the Area 51 website creator.
Of two Nevada homes to serve search warrants that remain mysterious to this day.
Now, the homes are owned by a website creator who has spent years focusing on the world's most enigmatic military base, and that's Area 51. Chief Investigator George Knapp broke the story of the original raids and is here with an update.
You know, we'd like to tell you we know exactly why the search warrants were authorized and what the feds were seeking when they pulled their guns and kicked in doors way back in November 2022. But like everything else related to Area 51, the truth is elusive and murky.
And I hear this banging and a voice.
Retired software designer Jorg Arnu was barely awake in the early morning hours of November 3rd, 2022, when all hell broke loose at his home in tiny Rachel, Nevada. Not far from the outskirts of Area 51, the world's best-known secret base.
The door of my house, they kicked in, and I'm getting out of bed, and I'm faced with probably about 6 or 8 people in my little hallway with a riot shield, guns drawn, pointed at me, commands, turn around, hands against the wall, and before I knew it, I was in handcuffs, dragged out of my house.
Agents from the FBI and OSI, that's the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, spent hours poking through the home. They seized every computer, hard drive, and camera and barked questions at Arnu in an intense and lengthy interrogation.
I was never told what the raid was all about. I was not handed a search warrant until after everybody had left my house, after the whole thing was over. So I still don't know exactly what it is that they're holding against me.
The warrant was authorized by a federal judge, but nearly every one of its more than 40 pages was blacked out. What Arnu didn't know until later was that another team of agents had simultaneously raided his second home in Las Vegas. That door was also bashed in, guns were drawn, and his girlfriend was interrogated. Agents reportedly told the girlfriend that Arnu was a fugitive on the run somewhere, which is how they coaxed her into giving up the names of Arnu's friends and associates.
They must have exercised a lot of force.
Altogether, the busted doors, seized property, and legal fees have cost Arnu a bundle.
All in all.
Yeah, that's just scary. I mean, they're kicking in doors, drawing guns, lying to his girlfriend to get information out of her. And for what? What's the reason? Obviously, he was keeping tabs on Area 51, and that's what his websites were about. Was he getting too close to the truth? Evidently, he was.
No charges have been filed. None of the seized property has been returned. And neither Arnu nor his attorney have been told what prompted more than 24 federal agents to take such dramatic action. The lawyer thinks they may never know, though it is almost certainly related to DreamlandResorts.com, the website Arnu created, a clearinghouse for all things related to the legendary Air Force Base at Groom Dry Lake.
I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm reporting on things that go on at Area 51 that can be observed from public land. I'm satisfying people's curiosity about Area 51.
Arnu says he's always been careful about what photos get published on his site. He says he does not cross the line by straying into restricted areas and would happily remove any image that goes too far.
Oh, and check this out.
And whatever justification was given in the search warrant is blacked out for reasons of national security.
I laughed because what else can you do, guys? This is just terrifying. The control group can raid people's homes, and then instead of telling you why they did it, they will redact that information. Also, this is scary. John Greenwald says that the email records of James Likatsky, the program lead for ALSAP/ATIP program at DIA, have been destroyed. James Likatsky's emails have been destroyed. Confirmed. Waiting on word per what records retention schedule authorized it and whether or not it was truly authorized. Sadly, it likely was. And here's the receipts. Here is what he got in reply to his FOIA request. The records you requested were properly destroyed prior to your request pursuant to records disposition schedules approved by the National Archives and Records Administration. Yeah, that's not great. And Lou Elizondo is commenting on this as well. He says, although John and I don't always see eye to eye, yeah, that's another statement, this is extremely relevant. Not only did the Pentagon do this to me in an attempt to erase my history with ATIP, they have now done it to my friend Jim and who knows how many countless others. When will people wake up and realize truth can be deleted with a simple click? And the bigger question, who is doing this and why? Yeah, so they'll delete emails, they will raid homes, they are not fooling around. I said before that in a way we didn't need government disclosure because we can get it through other sources that are going to be more honest. But we really do need government disclosure because we need oversight of the control group. They are doing shady, nefarious stuff. They've been doing it for a long time. Clearly, there needs to be some sort of cleaning up in the control group. And like I say, they need oversight. This sort of thing can't be allowed to continue. On a lighter note, here's a cat chasing another cat. Cat cam, guys, cat cam. But let me know what you think about everything covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I'd sure appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. This guy is really booking it. Look at that. Oh my God. I would not want to be on the receiving end of this cat. He's got a mission. He's got a mission. Like and subscribe, visit the merch shop, buy a t-shirt, become a channel member to really support the channel because channel members are rock stars, much like this cat. Channel members also frequently get to see videos hours ahead of everybody else. Also kind of a bully. Okay, rock star / bully. Leave that other cat alone. I mean, can't they just be friends? Can't they be friends? Okay, I'm tired of the cat carnage. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, all right. They stopped fighting for a second. Whoa, okay. But yeah, like and subscribe, and there's plenty of other videos, and I will see you guys next time. This is Jack of the Cosmic Road, signing out.